to infinity and beyond the box office bomb. Welcome back to Words of Paradise. I'm your host, Leon Idle. And you know what we haven't talked about in a while? The abject failure that was the Lightyear movie. You know, the one that Pixar pranced about with Chris Evans like it was some sort of God's gift to the Toy Story mythos without Tim Allen. Yeah, well, Pixar at least has finally acknowledged they messed up. You know, they know they made a mistake. They know they went in a wee bit of a wrong direction. Should have taken that left turn at Albuquerque. But it's in their claim that they know why or how they messed up that I find kind of suspect. Let's take a look at this article. Why Pixar thinks Lightyear wasn't a hit. Pixar CCO, Pete Docter, right, because nowadays you need a PhD in how to fail at making children's films, explains why the Toy Story spin-off starring Chris Evans failed at the box office. I have a feeling they are wrong about their assessment, but let's take a look. At the start of 2022, few films felt like as sure of a bet as Lightyear. Okay, well, out the gate, I don't know why they could think that this felt like a sure bet when no one was asking for this. Pixar, who used to be the kings and queens and madams and dukes of all things animated, have not been exactly batting the thousands as of late, and no one was asking for this. Really, no one was asking for Toy Story 4, and it was mid at best. They should have left it at 3. But trust me, ain't no one asking for Lightyear. And frankly, if you ask me, there is no Pixar without John Lasseter, but we all know what you did to him, but that's neither here nor there. It was a new film from Pixar, a company known for its high standards in terms of story, and it was part of the Toy Story franchise, one of the most beloved animated series of all time, and yet from the first day the film was announced, everyone was a tiny bit confused about it, and eventually it ended up being a major box office disappointment. No one was confused about it. We were angered about it. This is the narrative they've been trying to spin for a while, that people were confused, that they didn't understand that this was Lightyear, the character that the toy was based off of. We all knew that. Anyone that didn't know that is a moron. It is very obvious that that was the case. If this is truly what you think of your fans, then how are you going to go about the quantum realm and the alternate universes with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with the MCU? This has to do with alternate universes. This has to do with, depictions of characters from different timelines and whatnot. If you expect them to understand that, but you're saying they were confused by this, it's effectively the same basic concept. You're using it as an excuse. The question at the time was, what exactly is Lightyear? It's a question we talked about a lot on this site, and the movie itself very succinctly answers it in its first few frames. Not even that. The movie succinctly answered it. The movie didn't even answer it. All the press, all the articles, all the information coming out when they were telling us about this film answered it. We knew months and months in advance what this movie was, if you cared to listen. But that the movie actually needed explaining at all is why Pete Docter, the current chief creative officer at Pixar, thinks it didn't live up to the lofty expectations. Well, Pete, I can tell you you're wrong, but let's get to your little sentiment here. Let's get to your statement and see how off the mark you are. We've done a lot of soul searching about that because we all love the movie. Well, there's no soul to search. You people are soulless and only after a quick buck. But yeah, go ahead and tell us about all the soul searching. Also, you love the movie? Really? What is there to love about this movie? It isn't even strikingly as visually impressive as a lot of other modern animated films out there. It seems like you took a backseat even in that department for don't get me wrong, Buzz Lightyear himself looks good. Like the Buzz Lightyear suit, I will flat out acknowledge that looks cool and interesting. All the rest of it's just purely generic and boring, run-of-the-mill sci-fi. Not only that, but you claimed that this was supposed to, in-universe, be the movie from the 90s that would have inspired the Buzz Lightyear toy. It didn't look or feel like a 90s movie. If you're trying to portray this as a 90s film, it also needs to have that vibe. Look, I may not like the Brie Larson Captain Marvel movie, but at least it went out of its way to beat you over the head with the fact that it was supposed to be a 90s film. Docter told The Wrap in an extended interview, "We love the characters and the premise. I think probably what we've ended on in terms of what went wrong is that we've asked too much of the audience. When they hear Buzz, they're like, great, where's Miss Potato Head and Woody and Rex? And then we drop them into this science fiction film and they're like, what?" Again, no. No. You are being, either you're an idiot, either you're a moron, either you got yourselves an extra chromosome, and in that case, you shouldn't let it weigh you down. My point is, you either are disingenuous or stupid. Because we've had a Buzz Lightyear origin story. We had a cool little movie called Buzz Lightyear of Star Command.
This is the universe. I work here. Name's Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear.
And in this film, which takes place in-universe, like your Pixar movie does, this would have been what Andy was watching, or what the toys were watching, what inspired Buzz Lightyear. We knew the origins of Buzz Lightyear. We knew about Star Command, because you already had a straight-to-VHS film about it that was honestly really, really good. Also got itself a Dreamcast game. Just want to throw that out there. It was a fun game. I have fond memories of it. Don't know if it holds up, but the Dreamcast game was interesting. But then, not only after that movie, you had a show where Patrick Warburton took up the mantle after Tim Allen to voice Buzz Lightyear, and he does a very interesting take. It's Patrick Warburton doing a Tim Allen impression, which, is interesting. I think it does work in the, context of what it is. Point is, you had a movie and then a show, both of which were incredible. You're rewriting your canon, which no one asked for, which no one needed, and even if you think we did, us little kids back in the early 2000s understood the context then. You're saying we're too dumb to get it now? You think humanity has regressed so much that we couldn't take a simple concept as the origin of Buzz Lightyear, which we'd already gotten 20 years ago, and for whatever reason now we can't comprehend it? Now it's too complicated for our tiny little pea brains? You clearly have done this before, and it worked. It worked with Buzz Lightyear Star Command and, the spin-off TV show Buzz Lightyear Star Command. It doesn't make sense that you're claiming that people didn't understand this when we've already had this before and we understood it perfectly. Even if they've read the material and press, it was just a little too distant, both in concept and I think in the way the characters were drawn and they were portrayed. No, it wasn't. Not in the way they were drawn or portrayed. If you watch Buzz Lightyear Star Command, they're fully animated. Not even CGI, they're fully animated. But we still know full well this is Buzz Lightyear. This new colorful cast and crew are the Star Command characters that are supposed to exist, in universe in that show that Andy and them would have watched and would have known. These are fictional characters, obviously to us existing in the real world, but they're even fictional in the realm of Toy Story because the sentient Toy Story characters in universe are watching a TV show or a movie with these fictional characters. And it wasn't hard to grasp. I was like 9 when this show came out or something around that age, and I got it perfectly then. So no, it was not about how they were portrayed, about how they were drawn. This was completely easy to do and understandable. Your movie is just bad. You recasted Tim Allen, which you didn't need to do. Yes, you can make the argument, oh, it's a different character. Why would the toy version of Buzz have a different voice than the live action version? Usually, you pull lines. There's been real life Buzz Lightyear toys. In real life, we have Buzz Lightyear toys. When you press the little thing on his chest, it's still Tim Allen's voice, because when you make a toy out of something from a movie, you use the movie voice. I mean, we didn't need a recast, but no. So you recast Tim Allen, you change the origin story, you make this movie that no one was asking for, you put your politics in it, because you of course have to have your own ideologies and agendas in absolutely everything you do, Pixar. That is why the movie failed, because no one was asking for this, there was no market. We'd gotten this product before, we liked it then. We didn't need this, and the product you gave us was a bad product. It didn't have to do with the fact that people understand it or that it was too distant. None of this was an issue. It was much more of a science fiction. Oh, you mean kind of like the original show that we'd already gotten? Oh, yeah, that makes sense. The Oscar-winning director of Up, Monsters, Inc., and Inside Out continued, and Angus MacLane, director, to his credit, took it very seriously and genuinely and wanted to represent those characters as real characters, which we had already gotten done before. But the characters in Toy Story are much broader, and so I think there was a disconnect between what people wanted, expected, and what we were giving them. You're right. This is the first thing you said that's correct. There is a disconnect between what people wanted / expected. People wanted, if there was even a market for this at all, which I don't think there was, but people wanted what we already had, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command, because it was already perfect as is. It was already perfect as is. You could have just thrown it on Disney Plus and people would be happy. Yeah, still not on Disney Plus, by the way. What the hell? Yeah, what people expected was probably exactly what we got. Disney being Disney, Pixar being Pixar. Bad stories, agendas, and relatively generic CGI. You have to imagine Doctor hits the nail on the head here. He absolutely does not, but okay, Gizmodo. Disney announced Lightyear in late 2020, and at the time, we thought it was a movie about the real Buzz Lightyear. Evans himself tweeted, and just to be clear, this isn't the Buzz Lightyear the toy, this is the origin of the human Buzz Lightyear the toy is based on. Exactly, so we all knew what we were getting into. That was the point. He made it very clear for us what we were, getting into. We knew this going in, but that didn't make the product good. Which we later found out wasn't the case. It was in fact the movie Andy from... That's what Chris Evans meant, though. Lightyear the toy is based on would have been based on the movie. The movie Andy Toy Story watched that made him want the Buzz Lightyear toy. Yeah, Chris Evans was right. Now you're trying to make this more confusing, Gizmodo. Stop. What Chris Evans said was correct. This is about the real Buzz Lightyear. Real as in the real movie version that would have inspired the toy. This then opened up many more questions, all of which MacLane was happy to answer, but didn't make anyone's understanding of the movie clearer. Yes, it did. Everyone knew what this was, or if you were in the small minority that didn't, congratulations, you're an idiot. If you dropped out of high school, please make my McDouble plain. I don't like onions. So even coming from Pixar and Toy Story, the kind of confusion didn't make for an easy sell. Really? It didn't make for an easy sell? Toy Story 4 is about a spork that gains sentience. You're telling me that a Buzz Lightyear movie about the real movie that Andy would have watched that inspired the toy wouldn't be an easy sell? All you gotta do is throw Lightyear's name on it and it's an easy sell. What you ruined it with was getting rid of Tim Allen. That's really what the crux of this whole situation is. You got rid of Tim Allen, and that burned half your audience. Myself included, because for those of you that don't know, Toy Story is my single favorite children's film of all time. I love Toy Story, I love Toy Story 2, I love Toy Story 3, don't get me started on Toy Story 4, not a fan. Loved Buzz Lightyear Star Command, loved the Buzz Lightyear Star Command Dreamcast game, had a bunch of the toys growing up. Point is, Toy Story was my thing. My grandmother says my first word was Woody. Now, I don't know how true that is because, grandma's cute, stuff like that. But point is, I'm told my first word was Woody. I love me some Toy Story, and this wasn't needed. This wasn't necessary. Just slapping Lightyear on a crappy product isn't exactly going to immediately make Toy Story fans shell out them hard-earned bones. As a result, Lightyear ended up grossing only $118 million domestic and $226 million worldwide. In comparison, Toy Story 4 grossed $434 million domestic and $1.1 billion worldwide. Have you watched Lightyear? Do you think it works? Let us know. It absolutely does not. I've watched Buzz Lightyear Star Command, the superior version that came out about 20 years ago, and that works. So here we are, all this time later. Disney and Pixar execs done scratching their heads trying to figure out what went wrong, and they claim they figured out what went wrong, and they have learned nothing. They think that we, the audience, are morons. Is that how you want to be taught to? Do you want to be taught about how, our audiences, they're just too stupid to get it, so we probably shouldn't have made it anyway, because why make a product that their brains aren't big enough for? No. Make a product that is quality. This wasn't quality. This movie could have worked, considering it already worked once before, and that was like 20-ish years ago. But no. Instead, you want to completely change things, add new lore, add agendas, change the voice actors, a bunch of unnecessary bogus, and then claim that we were too dumb to get it and that maybe you guys just didn't market it properly. I'm done. I'm getting to the point where I'm so annoyed. I'm so upset. I'm so beside myself and insane with anger.
I'm insane with anger!
That I'm getting to the point where I'm repeating myself. But you guys watching, you know the score. You know that us the fans, us the audience, us the paying customer are what keep these individuals, on their high horses in their high-rise towers with their fancy furniture, feeding us product after product that is garbage, just to keep us satiated, eventually lounging on the couch, exploding into our own bag of Cheetos, complaining but never doing anything because we still buy the stupid product. We can't let this keep happening, guys. Disney screwed up. Pixar screwed up. They've continued to screw up. Toy Story 5 will probably be another mistake. Are we going to pay for that? Or are we going to finally tell them, we're done? We don't care anymore. Because that's what I'm doing. That's what I've been doing. Hopefully you keep doing the same thing. And if not, let me know why in the comments below. If you plan on doing the same thing, let me know in the comments below. If you don't want to talk to me in the comments below, that's fine as well. I get it. I'm probably too cool for you to feel like you can approach. But you can approach me. Approach me on Twitter, where you can find me at Bolt the Word, and let me know your opinions there. Also, please do subscribe and check out the back catalog. I do nerdy news every day, not just Disney, Star Wars, Magic the Gathering, comic books, you name it. It's all here in the Nerdosphere. Because this has been Words of Paradise.